Hey y'all, welcome to day 10 of Vlogmas. I can't believe we're already up to day 10. It's a little bit frightening because I have not done all of my Christmas shopping yet, and I see the shipping dates getting farther and farther out. So I need to get on that this week. That is one of my goals for this week, to get done with all of the ordering of the presents so I can make sure that they get in on time. But today I wanted to talk to you guys kind of about a little bit of the greater meaning of the holiday, because I have received a lot of kindnesses lately, and part of the holiday in the holiday season and why I like it so much is it feels really stupid to say this, but holiday cheer. Just the fact that it does feel like people are a little bit nicer to each other around this time of year. It feels like people are a little bit more patient. It feels like people go more out of their way to be helpful. So I just wanted to talk about some small ways that we all can spread the holiday cheer this season, and to let's not forget about these things in the hustle and bustle of trying to get all those gifts ordered and shipped, and the more materialistic parts of the holiday. Let's not lose sight of the other things. So I apologize if the audio for this is not fantastic. I am wearing my raincoat today because it's been raining most of the day, and it's supposed to rain for the next couple days. So I'm taking advantage of a very short window. I have to go on my lunch walk on this beautiful trail and get some fresh air in and get some movement so I can get some more blood flow, and hopefully blood flow to the brain, and wake up a little bit and do my job a little bit better. I've been doing mostly sitting at my desk computer work for most of the day, and that gets a little bit tiring in its own way. So very happy to be able to take this walk, and that it is not just pouring rain. When I walked into work today, it was about 43 degrees and just pouring rain out, which is my absolute least favorite weather ever. If it's going to be that cold, it should be snowing. And yes, I know that's not how physics works. I have lived somewhere where it's been quite snowy and somewhere where it's been quite cold. But yeah, not my favorite weather. But this weather right now is beautiful. It's about, I think it's a little bit under 60 degrees right now. It's quite warm today for December. And it's just really beautiful. I think once everything gets wet from the rain, everything looks a little bit more vibrant afterwards. So anyhow, my mental capacity for short-term memory is pretty crap right now. So I have actually written down a list in a notebook. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm reading, because I can't remember all of these things that I've been thinking about. So apologies in advance. I think that person was like, why is this person talking to themselves? I don't know if you could see in the background he looked, but a little bit distracted now. Anyhow, let's get on to some of the things that I brainstormed about, small ways that we all can spread a little bit of holiday cheer, regardless of if you celebrate the holiday or not. Honestly, we should be doing this every day. But now is a good time to remember to restart doing these things and hopefully carrying it on past the holiday season. All right, let's take a look, because I totally don't remember. All right, number one is buy coffee or a meal for a stranger. I do this occasionally, and it just feels really good to know that, you're going to make someone else's day a little bit brighter, a little bit easier. Maybe someone's coming in for a coffee and they've forgotten their wallet, and now it's not only do they not have their wallet, but they also can't get a coffee, which is maybe the reason why they forgot their wallet, because they haven't gotten caffeine. Or, a meal for someone who is unhoused. I don't tend to give out money in those situations, but partially because I don't carry cash on me. But I will definitely try to, make sure, if we're in a district where there are restaurants nearby, walk into the restaurant and pay for a meal. It just costs me a little bit of my time and very little money compared to what most people spend normally. So I try to do that when I can. And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not a saint. It's been so long since I've done that. So this is a reminder to myself that I need to do more of that as well. Part of that too is especially if you live somewhere cold, just packing a little paper bag, like a little paper bag of care items. I'm not explaining this well, but we have in our area a lot of unhoused people that stand at intersections, and a lot of times they're just asking for food. They're not asking for money. And it helps if you just have a little supply of bags that you can easily give out. Maybe put some granola bars in there. If it gets cold where you live, maybe some hot hands, and some little cheap gloves or mittens if you can afford to do that. Bottle of water, maybe a little pack of tuna fish. Anything goes a long way, and it's just a little bit of kindness. So I know my husband and I like to do that, but again, we haven't in recent years, and we really need to do that because I would like to set that example for our kids so that we know that, when we are in a position of being more fortunate, we can help those around us who maybe have less than we do. All right, what's next? Give a sincere compliment. So this one's totally free. All of it takes is a little bit of brain space. And the water's really flowing today. Look at that, along with all the graffiti. But giving a sincere compliment, this isn't hard to do. It costs nothing. And it really makes the other person feel awesome that someone was paying attention and they noticed, and that they're thinking about you. Let's see. Next on the list I have is help out a neighbor or friend. If you do live in an area where it's snowy and maybe you have an elderly neighbor or just someone who is mobility impaired, whether that's temporary or permanent, you can go out and help shovel if you can shovel, or if you have like I almost said a snow machine, but that's not what I mean, a snow blower. You can go and help them, clear their driveway, or, scrape a windshield or whatnot. There are lots of ways you can help other folks. So try to think of a few ways and just be cognizant of what's going on around you and just little ways you might be able to help. Maybe it's just holding the door for someone whose arms are full of a load of groceries. All right, the next one is, and this is my turnaround point, so apologies if you get a little motion sick there, is donating to a charity. And this doesn't necessarily have to be money. It could be time as well. So just a charity that you care about or that does good work in your area. I tend to like to donate more to local charities. And like I said, I don't do this a ton or as much as I should, but every little bit helps, even if it's just a couple bucks, or even if it's just an afternoon of your time, doing a Habitat for Humanity or going to the food bank and helping them sort food, or we have grocery bags for seniors in my area. Any little thing like that really helps. Leaving a nice tip for folks in the service industry. They're, busting their butts and not getting paid very much money to do that. And a little bit goes a long way at the holidays. So make sure if you are partaking of their services that you leave a decent tip, okay? And that's kind of specifically for Americans. I know in a lot of cultures it is not a tipping culture, but in America we very much are a tipping culture. And people are just not compensated as they should be fully for those jobs to begin with. The next one is share something homemade. So I have a video up about bake day, how my mom and I always do a bake day, and we just bake a ton of things, and then those are mostly our gifts that we give out to folks that you wouldn't normally have on your regular Christmas list or holiday list, but that you want to show appreciation for regardless. So I have brought one of my cookie tins into work today, and we dropped off one at my kids' daycare. My husband took one to his work, and he had a special one for one of his coworkers who likes something really specific that we were making. So it's just nice. And I just checked in on the cookie tin. It's about 2 p.m. right now, and they're just like the dregs are left. So I can definitely tell that it is appreciated and that people get excited, who I've worked with for a long time, to see some of the regular things in there. But it doesn't have to be baked goods. It can be crafts. It can be like my mom gave me a little crocheted dishcloth, for washing dishes. It's just something that she likes to do to occupy her hands. So yeah, it can be anything. This next one is be patient and give grace to others. This is one that I really, really try to remind myself of every day and do every single day. Even if you're in a bad mood or you're in a rush, you don't know what's happening in other people's lives. You don't know what their situation is. So, that person that cuts you off, like maybe someone is in there having a medical emergency, and they didn't call 911 because they can't afford an ambulance. Also an American thing, if anyone's not in America, ambulances are crazy expensive here. Or maybe it's just a situation where they were already in the car and then a medical incident came up and they're trying to get somewhere fast, or whatever. You don't know the situation, so honestly, it's not worth your energy to get mad at them. Just kind of take a pause and think, well, maybe they're having a really bad day. I don't know what's going on, and I'm going to give them a little bit of grace. And also be patient. I mean, there are a lot of people out right now, especially shopping. If you're in a store, please be patient with clerks. A lot of times they are new because they hire on seasonal help, or they have just dealt with a lot of impatient people that day because the volume is up and maybe they're not staffed to handle the uptick in volume. But just be kind, be patient, and give grace to other people when they are not kind or patient to you, if that situation happens. All right, and the last one that I have on this list is just to reach out to folks who might not have many friends or family locally, either checking on them online or visiting them or giving them a phone call. The holidays can be a really lonely time for a lot of people. It can be a really hard time for a lot of people, especially maybe if they are struggling financially or if they are missing folks in their life, either because they have passed on or they just can't be with them during the holiday season. So definitely check in on your folks who maybe don't have other people to check in on them regularly, and just make sure that they're okay. Honestly, just giving your time and sitting down for even just like a half-hour conversation with someone who is feeling lonely or feeling underappreciated or a little invisible will really go a long way. And it's honestly, it takes so little of your time in the long run to do that. So make sure you're checking in on your acquaintances and your folks, okay? All right, those are the things that I thought of when I was thinking about spreading holiday cheer and kindness. And it's not about doing specific Christmassy things necessarily. It's just, honestly, these are things we should be doing year round, like I said before. And oh, sorry, I think I just smashed my mic again. Horrible at that. Trying to grow, trying to get better. But yeah, just, being a good person, and let's really try to bring the focus on that to this holiday season instead of necessarily all the materialistic things that we tend to drown in, or even not materialistic things, but I feel like there are a lot of expectations of, oh, you have to do this thing, you have to spend time with these people because that's what other people are saying, or you have to have these decorations up by this date, and there are just a lot of expectations around the holiday, and I think sometimes a lot of those are misguided. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed going on this walk with me, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye. All right, y'all, this is a little aside. I have pulled over on the side of the trail because I'm about back to where I don't want to be filming anymore. But this is like, I should have these little vignettes called Random Thoughts by Sarah. So when I'm going on these walks, sometimes I find it a little bit hard to concentrate on what I'm saying, not just because of what's going on around me, but I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but I regularly get songs stuck in my head when I'm walking to the beat of like the rhythm of my steps. And I don't know if that's because I grew up doing dance or because I've done band or like various other marching things. But whenever I'm walking, if I'm walking at a certain pace, certain songs will get stuck in my head and just repeat over and over again. And I don't know if that happens to other people. Does that happen to you? You should let me know down it. Should let me know down in the comments below if it does. Some of the more common songs that get stuck in my head are "What Would You Do with a Drunken Sailor?" Usually, if I'm walking at a decent clip. If I'm walking a little bit slower, "Here Comes the Sun" is one that regularly gets stuck in my head. This also happens like not walking, but just with exercising. Like if I'm training for something specific and I'm doing sit-ups or push-ups, the song "Yeah" by Usher with Ludacris in it, and what's the other one? "Paralyzer" by Finger 11. Those two are both awesome songs to either do sit-ups or push-ups to. But it's just songs with a specific beat per minute that get stuck in my head. Kind of like how they train you to do CPR to staying alive. I think they've updated that. I think they have more songs that people can relate to, because maybe the staying alive song is a little bit out of touch with the younger folks now. I don't know. Anyhow, like I said, random thoughts with Sarah. If you guys walk to a certain song in your head ever, let me know. All right. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. I am trying to grow the channel, and I very much appreciate those likes and subscribes. And that way you won't miss out on the rest of Vlogmas and other random thoughts. All right, have a good one, y'all.